A huge moo to the herd, and welcome to episode 1 of our new playthrough of All the Mods 6 to the Sky. So, what is this? Well, it's clearly All the Mods 6. If you've ever played one of those, it's a kitchen sink mod pack. But this one is a skyblock. As you can see, I am standing on a tree in the middle of nowhere. So, the purpose for me for this whole playthrough is to explore as many mods as possible. Have some fun doing it, learn about the different mods. There is a quest book included in this mod pack, so we'll be going through as many quests as possible, but ultimately I'd like to get to a nice sprawling sky island with lots of different mods being used, etc. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is to get myself some wood. So let's put ourselves in the right mode, because I'm going to need... I tend to have an unfortunate experience with RNG, in that RNG tends to favour others. So I'm not going to take the chances of not getting any saplings. I'm going to make myself a crook, or a couple of crooks. And then FTB ultimines in this one, so I can just vein mine everything. And then we can just pick up our crafting table. And we will just clear away the remainder of this tree. And you can see I got 11 saplings out of doing that. You can take the risk. You can clear off all the leaves and get rid of some lava and some ice. Awesome. Yeah, you can clear up the leaves and hope that you might get it, but at least with a crook, you've got more of a chance. Now, as with most skyblocks, there is the obligatory twerking, so just repeatedly pressing the shift key, and you'll speed up the growth of the trees. So I'm going to get a few blocks here. Oops. Bit of a lag block there. I don't know what's going on. There we are. We'll do this a few times. What I'd like to do is expand this platform out, because we don't really have a great deal of space. There goes my first crook. So let's see. I've got 9 logs, 15 logs now. So if I just pop my crafting table down, turn those into wood, and then turn these into slabs. Now I should have some quests completed. So if I go, we'll leave the intro one. So if I go to ex nihilio, so we get an axe, nice. We get a crook and some random stuff, which is good. What else do we get? And we've also, because we've got a worm, we've got some cooked worms and some more stuff. We've got some jungle saplings with that. Do we have any others? No, that's that. Right. Did I get any stone? No, I didn't. Right. That's not a problem, because Garden of Glass is also in this. So what we can do is we can hold down shift and then right click on the glass. Okay, lots and lots of pebbles. So the reason I want some stone initially, that should be a good setup, is I can make some cobblestone, but I can also take my sticks and make a stone wand, which will make doing our one thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the chunk boundaries up, because I want to make this in a chunk. So if I pop this here, because I'm going to try for a 13 by 13 platform to start off with, give myself plenty of space within this chunk, and then I mean, I know it's going to irritate me like nobody's business, because the soil and the grass is going to be not dead center. It's going to be off in one corner. But we will correct that later once we've got a bit more space. And the reason I wanted the wand is now I can head over to the end and just pop them all out nice and easy. So that's going to take me to there. That's going to take me to there. Good. So what we can do is we can go over and just finish this off. So what I'll probably do is I'm going to expand this platform out. As I said, I want a 13 by 13 platform. So we'll do that. What I'll do is I'll go and do that. We'll pause here and we'll come back. We'll have a nice platform and then we can start working on the next bit. So be right back. Okay, as you can see, I've made a fair amount of progress on the platform, but one of the things, obviously I've run out of wood, so I need some more. But one thing that's quite handy is if you take 4 crooks, you can make a compressed crook. And the advantage of the compressed crook is it lasts a bit longer. So if I pop my 5 saplings down, I've got a bit more space around there. And because the leaves have formed all around me, so I'm now in the squat position. And if you're wondering what that looks like, that's me doing my Superman impression. So we can get rid of all of these leaves. And I'll just use saplings to get the wood away. And then I can take this wood, I'm going to take half of it, turn it into oak planks. It gets me more slabs and I can finish off. So we'll get this platform finished off. And then when we'll come back, we'll get some more trees planted, we'll get a furnace done, and we'll take it from there. Okay, a standard process for these. I've got my cobblestone from the pebbles. So I'm going to make up a furnace because I need some charcoal. So what we'll do is we'll take a couple of logs, we'll use that as fuel, and we'll put the oak logs in place. And hopefully get some charcoal. And we can make some torches because it's getting dark here. We'll just light up the areas. Now, because this is a 13 by 13, I'm obviously going to need a lot more torches than we would if you did the classic 9 by 9. But I don't see that as being too much of an issue. Just get everything illuminated. I think that's everything. I'm going to pop one here because I know the furnace is pumping out light. Okay, so we've got our furnace running. The one thing I am going to do is I'm going to turn this crafting table into a crafting bench, I think it's called, just by putting the table in a grid crafting station. And that means that I can now access the stuff in the furnace. But if I also pop a chest down, pop this chest down here, then I've got access to everything in the chest, which makes crafting significantly easier. So I'm just going to pop some trees down, because we're going to need to do some sifting. Anyone who's used nihilio before knows that one of the key early parts is sifting and so forth. Let's just see if we've got any more quests done. We have. I've got simply cobble, and that gives me a nice pickaxe. So yeah, let me get these twerked away. And well, actually, I'm going to get some string. So we've got silkworms. So we just grab some silkworms and shove them in the trees, and that will infest the trees. And the reason I want silkworms is once the infestation has been completed, we'll be able to use the crook on all of these leaves and get string. And you'll notice it's dark. Now this is a 116 pack. So one of the things we've got to be careful of is if we don't sleep for too long, we'll get plagued by phantoms, which are flying mobs that come and attack you, and generally unpleasant people, well, creatures. So we want to get a bed down as soon as possible so we can avoid those. I think it's every like 3 Minecraft days. If you haven't slept, you'll get attacked by phantoms. It might be more, I'm not sure. So I'm going to let that infestation go and see if I can get as many leaves as possible. Meanwhile, I've got a load of charcoal, so I can make up a load of torches. We'll probably need those. Yeah, so when we come back, we'll look at getting some sifting done. One thing I am going to do is once I've harvested the string is I'm going to get a load more pebbles because we're going to need a lot of cobblestone. And then we'll make the sieves and so forth. So be back. Okay, so I think the infestation is finished. So what we can do is now just get as many of these as possible, and that's my compressed crook broken. So let's just take some wood. You can compress the slabs back into planks. Where did they go? They're probably still in the table. Or in the furnace. Yep, they seem to have gone into the furnace. So I'll just take all of these. And we'll make up our 4 compressed crooks. 4 crooks in to make a compressed crook. And we'll get as much string as possible, because there are other uses for it. Let's try and get some of that stuff, because otherwise it's going to be problematic. So I've had the leaves just hanging in my test welds before, and it's just a bit unsightly. Right. Should be, yeah, that's all of them. Yeah, so I'd like to, by the end of this episode, is get some sieving done, get some sieve upgrades done, maybe get some metal, but that might not be as easy as it sounds. I love the fact I can use a sapling to cut down wood. Yeah, see, that's going to just hang there forever. That's going to annoy me. We'll see if we can build out and get to it later. Right, you can see I've got loads of string. The great thing with the excess string is you can actually compost it into dirt. So that's useful. Right, so I want 3 pieces of wool. I also want is a string mesh. So that will unlock a quest. I want some wood. I'll make up a bed. And we'll just sleep through this night. Ta-da! And there's daylight. Right, so we want a sieve. So let's just do a quick search for sieve. And we're going to need some wood for that. So get some wood. And we've now got our sieve. And I'm going to pop this over here. What we could do is we could take our string mesh, and then we'll need to do some hammering and compressing. So first I want is a hammer, which is 2 pieces of cobble and some sticks, which I don't have. Let's make ourselves some sticks. So 2 pieces of cobble. And then what I'm going to do is, do I want to compress these, or do I want to compress the gravel? We'll leave the gravel, the cobblestone as it is at the moment. So what we can do is we can take this, we can just go 2, 3, 4, 5, and then use our wand to lay this all down. And then we'll vein mine this all, and this will turn all of the cobblestone into gravel. And then we can take the gravel, 25 pieces of gravel, and sieve it. Now, the only thing you're going to get from a string mesh and gravel is flint. And I want 6 pieces of flint. As you can see, that's 1 piece of flint we've got so far. Yeah, it's going to take a while. We're going to need a fair amount of flint to do. So there is a way around it, which we will explore in a second, once we've got this whole batch done. At the moment, I'm just using 1 sieve with just normal gravel. And that can take a bit of time. So what we can do is we can make, we can use compressed gravel in a heavy sieve, and that will reduce the amount of time it takes to do things, which will be brilliant, and make our life a little easier. So let's do that. That's 3, I think I said 3 pieces of flint. I thought we were going to get really lucky. Yep. So we need another 3 pieces. So let's make a heavy sieve, which is just logs and sticks. We can, with an empty hand, pop the string mesh out, put our heavy sieve down, string mesh in, and we can take our cobblestone, which I've got 64, And we'll use our wand to make up a little area, and take our stone hammer. That should give us 64 gravel. Now, one tip you can do is if you open your crafting table, and then on my keybind it's Shift K, but if I hold down Shift K, it will turn all of the gravel into compressed gravel. And it does that for anything that can be compressed. So if you've got the pieces of ore, which we'll get later, you can turn those into chunks and so forth. So it makes life a little bit easier. So I can take my compressed gravel, take it to my heavy sieve, and this is 9 pieces of gravel each time I do it. So it should be a little bit quicker. And I now have plenty of flint. So I'm just going to finish this last piece off. And then I'll empty out my sieve, take that, take 6 pieces of flint, and give myself a flint mesh. And then I can finish off sieving my compressed gravel. And hopefully I should now start getting metal. Let's see what we've got after this. As you can see, I've got gold ore pieces, iron ore pieces, zinc, platinum, lead, uranium, silver, and aluminium. Or aluminum if you're North American. So you need 4 pieces to make a chunk. And then when you get 4 pieces, you can put that chunk into a furnace, and that'll give you an ingot. So clearly I've got a lot more sieving and etc. to do, because I want 6 pieces of iron to get an iron sieve. And so we'll pause here, and then we'll get a lot more gravel sieved, and we can, after we've done that, hopefully we can get the iron to move up to the next tier. So we'll be back soon. Now, I spent a bit of time getting a load more cobblestone, and one thing that we can do is we can make a compressed stone hammer, which has the advantage of enabling us to use compressed cobblestone. Have I got enough sticks? No, I need some more sticks. Which means I don't have to put as much down. So for that, we're going to need 9 hammers. I've already got 1 in my inventory. And then we take all of these, pop them into our crafting grid, and we get a compressed stone hammer. And what we can then do is we can compress the cobblestone. So we've got 8 pieces of cobblestone, and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Use my compressed hammer, and that will turn it into 64 pieces of gravel, which we can then compress, just as we've done on the other one, and get on with sieving. So I just thought, quite a handy tip. You can do that with any of the compressed material. So if we put compressed gravel down, use a compressed hammer, we can turn that into sand, compress the sand, put that down, turn that into dust, and so forth. So we'll be back once we've got a bit more metal. Okay, so I've decided to do something slightly different. I've got 12 pieces of iron, and I'm going to turn these 12 pieces into, put a bit of coal in there. One thing you can do with coal, just saying, is it just works with coal. It doesn't work with charcoal. You can make uncompressed coal, so you can stick that in there, and it will do 1 item per piece. So quite useful. Yeah, so I'm going to take the 3 pieces of iron, because one of the things I want to do is getting pebbles is quite time consuming, and obviously we're going to need lots of cobblestone. So what we're going to do is make a cobble gen. So I'm going to get a few more pebbles from here. And then I'm going to make up an infinite water source, which should be relatively easy. And the reason I want these is so I can make up a little area over here. So 1. That's my little area. Now, in our starting chest, we got a piece of ice. So I'm going to pop that down there. But anyone who's played Minecraft knows that you need 2 pieces of, or 2 water sources to make up a infinite water source. So let's get a wooden crucible and a torch, which I have. So this is probably the worst way to make water because it is so slow. But can I just stick this on top? I can. So we've got heat of 2. Now what we can do is if I take some saplings, of which I have, I think, plenty, and I think it's just 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that will very slowly, at 2 millibuckets per tick, I think it is, or maybe per second, who knows, will convert that into water. And the reason I wanted the 3 pieces of iron was so I can make a bucket, drain that into there, pop the water into that side, break the ice, and then have an infinite water source. And the reason I want the infinite water source is so we can make a cobble gen. So I'm going to let the crucible do its job and convert that into water. And then when we come back, I'll do a bit more sifting in between. We'll see about getting a cobble gen made up and how we access that. And then we'll be in a really good position to advance from there. So we'll be back soon. Okay, so finally, our water has been completed. Now, as this is a 1/16 pack, slabs, stairs, etc. can be waterlogged. So if you try and pop water straight on the floor, it kind of tends to go underneath it. So I tend to just pour the water on the edge. And then if we just break this, we now have an infinite water source. And we've got our bucket of lava. So if I look up, I think it's Cobble for Days is the mod. For a cobble gen tier 1, we're going to need some wood, bucket of lava, bucket of water, and a piece of glass. Well, the glass is actually relatively easy to get. So if I take a piece of gravel, pop that down, take my hammer, turn that into sand, and then in the same way as you would in vanilla Minecraft, sorry, rather than regular, we can turn that into glass. Pop. And then we should have everything for a cobble gen. So we have our cobble gen tier 1. And what we can do is we can pop this down here. And then to get access to it, if I take some wood, a couple of pieces, and make a chest, as long as you put the chest on top, it will start generating cobble for you. Not fast. The tier 2 is easy. It's just exactly the same with some cobblestone. And that's a bit faster. And then obviously tier 3 is iron, and then gold, and I think the last one's diamond. So you can go up to tier 5 really fast, but this will do our needs for now. So we can let that just generate cobble rather than standing here going click, 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 which is a bit boring if we're honest. Because we're going to still need to produce a significant amount more gravel to sieve, because between cuts I was making pebblestones, turning that into cobblestone, turning that into gravel, into compressed gravel, and we've so far managed to accrue 13 iron pieces. To turn this into an iron sieve, I need 24. So there's a lot of sieving to be done. So what we'll do is we'll get our pools here. We'll let this generate its cobblestone. We'll get that compressed. And then we will see about getting an iron mesh, because if I look at a mesh, an iron one, and what its uses are, in a heavy sieve with gravel, so in compressed gravel, we can get iron, but we've got a 15% chance plus a 10% chance. We can get sulfur, apatite, lapis, aluminium, gold, copper, lead, some niter, nickel, diamond, platinum, coal, cinnabar, silver, uranium, zinc, emeralds, flint, and tin. So a heck of a lot. And as I said, we've got a 15 plus 10% chance. If we look at the flint mesh, and which is what we're using at the moment, and we'd do compressed gravel, we've only got a 10% chance. So if we can get that iron mesh, we get a much higher chance of getting iron. Plus we get a load of other stuff, including diamonds, which is the next tier. So I'm going to get on and do some more sieving. And then when we come back, hopefully we'll have enough iron to be able to do the mesh. and then we'll be able to move on from there. Okay, so I've now got my 24 pieces. So if I Shift K that gives me 6 pieces of iron. I'm going to stick that in my furnace. One thing I just noticed when I was looking through the quest book, and I don't know why I hadn't focused it, but up here is a quest that says Early Cobble Gen, and it's a tick box quest. And you check mark it, and it gives you a bucket of lava and a bucket of water. So you can easily make a vanilla cobble gen if you want, or you can just use those. I think the cobble gens require, let's find out, metal buckets. So it's not difficult to get those into the iron buckets and produce your cobble gen early, rather than having to wait for this to turn into water. Now, once this iron's done, we'll be in a position to have get my teeth back in. We'll be in a position to get an iron mesh, which will make our lives considerably easier, and hopefully will mean that getting iron and all the other materials we need will be a bit quicker. So we'll just take that out. Get our iron mesh, and we'll pop that in here. We'll take some cobble, compress that up. Take the gravel from it, compress that, and now when we sift it, is it sieve or sift? Not sure. It's the last piece now. Okay. We've got significantly more iron than we normally get. Zinc, lead, lapis, platinum, tin, sulfur, apatite, uranium, gold. We've got some emeralds, silver, aluminium, copper, nickel. Got coal. Yeah. So we've got a lot more. So it's definitely been worth getting the iron mesh. So clearly I'm going to need to do a heck of a lot more sieving. We've got to let the cobble gen do its job. So I think this is a good point to end the episode. I think in the next episode, we're going to need to focus on automating this whole process, because there is nothing more tedious than standing there, sieving and clicking and so forth. So we'll focus on getting as much automation as possible. Also look at getting different materials sieved, like sand and dust and netherrack and endstone. Yeah, so we'll try and get as much automation done as possible. So I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I think this could be a really interesting series, especially when we start exploring all the other mods and how we can tie that all together. If you did like it, feel free to give the episode a like. If you'd like to see more, then please feel free to subscribe. Until then, I wish you a very pleasant day. Goodbye.